former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has said he will announce his next local political move next week, when he is expected to have concluded his consultation tours nationally. Speaking in Kisumu, where he has begun his grassroots meeting with youth and elderly leaders, Odinga has pledged to consult wisely and gather all manner of views as he maps out his next steps. He emphasized that the AU chapter is now behind him and that it is time to move forward. The ODM leader further said that with party officials, or rather accompanied with party officials in Kisumu County, and urged them to strengthen the party's base ahead of the big announcement. This follows his high-level meeting with President William Ruto at State House in Mombasa, where the two leaders addressed various national issues. Speaking in Kwale during his two-day coastal tour, and accompanied by his deputy president, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and sports CS Salim Vuria, President William Ruto has urged for unity and called on leaders from all the political affiliations to rally behind his Kenya Kwanza regime and unite the country under the broad-based agreement.
Tuna watu wenye umbea na fitina. Tuna watu wenye mtafaruku ambao hawataki nchi yetu isonge mbele. Mimi nawauliza tuwapuzilie mbali.
Vile vile rais amefika hapa kwa sababu ya kuendeleza maneno ya uchumi wa baharini, ili wavuvi wetu wawe na vifaa vya kutosha vya kufanya biashara yao ya uvuvi.
Mambo ya uchaguzi tulimalizana nayo. Mimi nimekubali ya kwamba tutengeneze serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Hata wale walikuwa upinzani tumekubaliana na wao wakuje tufanye pamoja, ndio tuendeshe Kenya pamoja, kusiwe na ubaguzi, kusiwe na wale wamefungiwa nje. Sisi wote tuungane kwa pamoja. Waswahili wanasema umoja ni nini?
Meanwhile, the regional ruling UDA party leadership in Homa Bay County has warned the ODM county and grassroots leaders against forming an alliance with the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's fold, terming his political scores a mockery to the progress of the nation. UDA Homa Bay County Chairperson Hesbon Omolo has blamed Gachagua for derailing the government's agenda, warning ODM leaders against joining his fold.
In the beginning, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua did not want us near government. And this is what I got to say about him. He's simply a jealous man that is even jealous that President William Ruto know more roads in his backyard than he does. He was jealous that the Luos were getting into a government they did not vote for. So this is a man suffering from acute narcissistic personality disorder in the name of jealousy. So we cannot help him. And Kenyans must know that now he has changed tune, trying to tell us how Raila Odinga and the Luos are good people, because his main aim is to get back at Ruto.
Pearl Newsbeat.
At the same time, a host of elders from the Kisii region have thrown their weight behind the candidature of former Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i for the upcoming 2027 election. The leaders have exuded confidence in Matiang'i, saying he is the best candidate from the Highland Kisii region to unseat President William Ruto. The leaders, speaking from Manga, Burabu, where Dr. Matiang'i hails from, have urged political leaders from the Kisii region to support and drum up support for the former Interior Minister.
Matiang'i atoke nje afanyie wa Kenya kazi, na mnajua ile kazi amefanya, na ni mtu wa bidii, ni mtu anajitoa kwa kazi yake ile anafanya.
Tumeona vile amepata ushawishi mzuri, ushawishi mkubwa. He has been accepted all over the Republic of Kenya. So my appeal, or our appeal as people from this area where he comes from, is that we want to appeal to all the Kisii leaders, all the Kisii community, to come together so that we are able to support fully our son from this area.
Sisi kama wamama wa Gusii tuona hao vijana wetu wameoa, tuangalie hao mabibi zao kama wako na ma-ID, kama hawana tuwapeleke juu. Kila mahali siku hizi tunashika ma-ID.
Pearl Newsbeat.
Separately, Busia Senator Okiya Omtata began gathering views from Kenyans as he popularizes his 2027 presidential bid nationally. The lawmaker has today taken to Machakos County to woo the youthful generation behind his bid and collect the area of challenges they are facing. They say will inform their manifesto. The youth, speaking to the media from Machakos University, has cited the lack of job, cases of insecurity among a litany of grievances they want addressed.
Student as well as an hustler, a boda rider. In most cases, bodas are being stolen. People are being killed. Like there's some other days back, some riders were killed. You carry a customer, then at the destination, you find that the customer you've carried is a criminal.
Some of the ladies have abilities and skills, and they are smart ladies out here, but they don't get the chance to expose what they have
And once we understand that, we can better articulate it moving forward in our own policy proposals, and later on, when the campaigns hit full swing, we will be acting from a position of taking orders from the people.
Pearl Newsbeat.
In other news, a host of members of parliament from Nairobi region have blasted Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja for ordering his troops to dump waste at Stima Plaza in the ampers surrounding City Hall and the power utility KPLC over a 3.1 billion Kenya shillings of unpaid bills. Embakasi North Member of Parliament James Gakuyu has termed the acts by the county as barbaric, adding that there are better mechanisms to resolve the standoff. This as the lawmaker further urged City Hall to pay their dues and settle the outstanding debts with the power utility firm.
Ate ile jukumu wameona ni mzuri kufanya, ate ni gavana kuamurisha magari sikamwaga takataka pale kwa mlango ya Stima Plaza. Na mimi nauliza gavana, hatujafika hapo. Hiyo inakureduce sana na inakaa ni kama kweli wewe sio gavana, ule anafaa kuitwa gavana. Gavana tafadhali, hiyo sio njia ya kujibu. Wewe unajua kwamba ukidaiwa lipa deni ya wenyewe. Na kukura deni ni kulipa. Kwa hivyo gavana, hakuna haja ya mabishano, na ukikutana na mimi ningeuliza tumia binu zingine, lakini binu ya takataka kwani iende ikanuke Stima Plaza, hiyo ni mambo ya aibu sana. Kwa hivyo gavana, tafadhali komaa.
Speaking at a local media house, KPLC MD and CEO Engineer Joseph Siror maintained that the power utility will not play games with the Governor Johnson Sakaja-led team, adding that while City Hall is non-committal to pay the power bills, the utility firms continue to suffer penalties from the suppliers.
I think that is something many people have confused. We buy this power from generators. These are IPPs, this is Kengen, and we must pay them. And we collect all the money, not just for KPLC, but to pay for generation, to pay for transmission, to pay for distribution and retail. And when we are not paid, then it puts us in a very difficult position. If it was such that what we are actually selling is ours, then you can be very lenient. But in a situation where, for example, when you delay, there are penalties, we incur penalties, then of course we are at times forced, and it's allowed in the Act, for us to disconnect as a means of exerting some little pressure.
This as more trucks carrying waste kept at bay at the Stima Plaza earlier today, prompting the National Environment Management Authority Director Dr. Ayub Masharia to order Nairobi County to clean the area, as it argues that the garbage trucks at the location are not registered. The order follows a push and pull by Nairobi City and KPLC, where the latter has accused the county government of failing to clear its own outstanding electricity bill of 3 billion Kenyan shillings.
We are issuing an order to the Nairobi County government. We are heading there now to tell them to do three things. One of them is to make sure that these vehicles are removed from this site. This is not a waste disposal site. The vehicles should be removed. We don't want them here. They're in the wrong place. And then number two, when you look at that waste, it is not carried properly. Those vehicles are not covered, you know. And so even when they are moving on our street, they will be blown by the wind and they will spill on our streets. And so that is also an order that the waste should be moved properly. They should also acquire licenses from NEMA.
And while the county, on the other hand, claims that KPLC has an accrued 4.8 billion Kenya shillings in Whaley fees, county officials today launched a major crackdown on unauthorized fiber optic cables mounted on power poles along key highways, aiming to disconnect internet cables installed without county approval. Speaking during the operation that began today on the Agweng-Skodek Road, Nairobi County Revenue Chief Officer Tyrus Njoroge said that internet service providers, ISPs, had failed to comply comply with the regulations requiring payment for way leaves and official authorization to install the cables. He further warned ISPs to ensure that all fiber optic installations on county road reserves have the necessary approvals and that way leave fees are fully paid. Njoroge accused KPLC of enabling uncompliant companies to mount fiber optic cables on power lines without county business permits, way leave approvals, or even authorization from the Communications Authority.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.